everyone, and welcome back to I Sew TV with Moray, where you sew and you design. And today we are going to learn how to sew in a regular zipper into a garment. You have invisible zippers, regular zippers, other zippers, but today we are going to focus on regular zippers. So if you are interested in learning how to do this, stay tuned. Before we go any further, I want to let you all know that I created a video asking everyone to post a comment letting me know exactly what they would like to learn. So this video comes from Live, Love, and Learn Naturally. She wants to know how to install zips and how to install front pockets. So what I'm going to do is post a video on installing regular zippers and then another video on invisible zippers, because the two things they have two different methods of installing, so I feel like they need two different videos. And then I will also do the front pockets. So right now you're going to need pins and pin cushion, scissors. If you are a beginner, I suggest you go get a shirt you don't care about or a skirt you don't care about and cut it up, because you don't want to actually install this on an actual garment that you plan on really wearing until you have this down packed. As a beginner, installing zippers will not come naturally. Your first time, you will mess up. So what I suggest is going to go get a bulk of zippers online. I'm going to provide a link where I found a bulk of them, about 20 of them, for about $4. Whereas if you went to a chain store like Joann's or Hancock Fabrics, you're going to spend $4 for one. And we don't want to do that because we're going to mess up our one if we are a die-hard beginner. So remember guys, I teach beginners. If you are advanced, this video may be a little too slow for you because I'm going to go at a steady pace where all beginners can learn how to do this. Alright, let's get going. I'm going to show you two different ways you can install a regular zipper. The first way is going to be, say if you want your zipper to be the entire length of the zipper. And then the second way is, say if you only want your zipper to be a certain length. So first we're going to start off with the entire length of the zipper. So first take your shirt and turn it inside out. Once it's inside out, I'm going to keep it simple and say I want my zipper to be in the back of my shirt down the middle. So what we did is we're going to cut your shirt in half right up the middle. So we're going to take the shirt and we're going to match the right sides together. And then we're going to pin it all the way down. So just like this. So now we're going to take it to our sewing machine and we are going to do a long basting stitch down. I know some of you are like, what in the world is a basting stitch? A basting stitch is a long stitch that you can easily take out. It's like a placeholder stitch. You want to be able to just hold its place, and once you're done, you take the stitch out. So pretty much all I do is change my tension to -3 because the higher tension means tighter tension. I want the least amount of tension. So -3. So then I want to come over to my computerized section because I'm using a computerized sewing machine and I want to make sure I have it on a straight stitch. So 0, 0 is my straight stitch. Then I want to make sure my stitch is long and least amount of tension. So I make sure I go to the highest number, which is going to be, let's see, 6.5. So up here you see if you go that way, if you go to the low number, it gets tighter, as you see up here. But if you go to the other side, the right side, all the way up to the highest, the stitch gets longer. And then over here, if you see these lines, I want to have a longer line. So I want to go up towards the longer line, not to the shorter line. So go all the way up as far as I can. And there we go. That's a long basting stitch. Your sewing machine may be a little different, but you just want to make a basting stitch. You can even sew a little placeholder stitch, is what I like to call it, by hand, but that's how to do it on a sewing machine. So let's go ahead and start sewing our basting stitch down, and as we sew, remove your pins. You know how to do this part, I'm sure. can see, I'm using red thread to sew everything, only so it can show up on camera a lot more clear. So this is what your shirt will look like in the back with your basting stitch. And look how you can fold the flaps open. See? So I'm going to use a blue zipper just for tutorial purposes because it's easy to show up on camera. And now I'm going to zoom in a little bit more so you can get a nice intimate visual of what's about to happen. Depending on your fabric, you want to iron this part open. Now the fabric that I'm using, I would not put an iron to. It's a very nylon stretch spandex material, so I wouldn't put an iron to this. I would just be very careful of how I place my zipper. But any other fabric that's kind of like cotton or anything, iron this open. Take your zipper. You want to put the right side of the zipper down. So you want the wrong side of the zipper looking up at you. So the right side is facing down. See these little flaps? You want to make those flush with your back. You don't want them higher. You don't want them too low. You want them flush. Because in the end, you're going to hem that down with your raw edges with your shirt. So make sure the zipper is lined up. Here is a good visual of how your zipper should lay flat in the basting stitch. All the way down. Now this part may seem a little tricky, but trust me, it's not. Go ahead and take 2 pins for the top and 2 pins for the bottom. And pin each flap of your zipper down to each flap of your shirt. And then we're going to do the bottom. So you have 2 at the bottom, 2 at the top. Turn this inside out. So you have it inside out. You want to feel for the actual metal zip part to make sure it lines up with your actual middle basting stitch. So just feel and make sure it is. We put the 2 pins at the top and the 2 pins at the bottom to secure it. But we want to make sure we keep the actual metal piece right in the middle right here. So as you feel for that, what we're going to do is pin down each side of the zipper all the way down. So pin them down. Like that. Make sure you feel that the actual zip part, metal part, is still in the middle of your basting stitch. Should look like this. And now what we're going to do is take out your basting stitch in the middle. So grab your seam ripper and start gently taking out your basting stitch. It should easily come out. It shouldn't be like a tight stitch. Your basting stitch out, this is what it will look like. You see how you can now see that the zip part, the actual metal part, is in the middle. So that's what it'll look like. Now remember the 2 pins you put at the top when it was inside out? Make sure you remove those. I mean, you can keep them there if you want, but just don't forget them. You don't want to actually accidentally sew them because you forgot them. So remove those and put them on the outside. Those were just placeholders, remember? Okay. So now the top is on the outside. Go ahead and remove the back ones and put those on the outside. So now we're going to unzip our zipper. And I like to start on my left side. So let's take this side to the sewing machine. Now here is the most important part. You need a zipper foot for your sewing machine. You absolutely need this. Most sewing machines come with zipper foots. If you don't have one, I'm going to put a link down in the bottom of the description to let you know where you can get a zipper foot online for about $1 or $2. Don't go out and spend so much money on this. I saw this at a local store for $12. You can get it online for way cheaper. So yes, get a zipper foot and go ahead and attach that to your sewing machine. So since I'm starting on my left side, I want to make sure my zipper foot is clamped on the right side. So you see how the zipper foot has two different sides you can clamp it in? Clamp it on the opposite. So if you start on the left side, clamp on the right side. I'm starting on my left side to sew, so I want to clamp on the right side. What you're going to see is that this piece is going to plop down and the needle is going to sew right beside the grooves of the teeth. So this is holding the fabric in place, and as I move, the needle is going to be sewing along the grooves but not on the grooves. This is where you may mess up and you may jack your sewing machine up. You will break some needles. I mean, it's okay. That's why you want to do this on an outfit or a shirt or skirt that you don't care about to practice and use cheap zippers. Because this is all technique, guys. All technique. Okay? Here's a better view. So as I start sewing, take a better view of what's going to happen. So that's going to lay flat. And the needle, I'm going to push it down. Pull it up a little bit. See how the needle went right in, right beside the grooves. Okay, let's sew. Now I'm at the bottom of the zipper, which is the bottom of the back of my shirt. What you're going to do is you just pivot your sewing machine to turn it horizontally and do a straight stitch across, and then pivot it again. So you could turn it to go up. So now we're going to go back up to the top. And start zipping your zipper up. It's up to you, whatever makes you comfortable. Like I said, this part is just pure your own technique, so you're gonna have to master this part yourself, what makes you comfortable. If you want to keep it unzipped, that's fine. If you want to start zipping it up as you sew, just figure out what works for you. For me, I like to keep zipping it back up to make sure it's nice and close to the actual zip. So then we start sewing. We are done. Let's see the final look. So here is a close-up with the red thread, so you can see our stitching of the zipper, and it looks awesome. Of course, let's forget the fact that it is a blue zipper with all the different colors, but just remember it was for tutorial purposes only, but it looks great. So let's unzip it. It looks good. Let me give you a better look. So here it is, and there is your zipper minus all of the crazy colors, but at least you know how to install the zipper. So now let's focus on these flaps. You see up here, I used a shirt that I didn't care about, so the edges are already hemmed, but you would have raw edges where they're not hemmed. So we're going to turn the shirt inside out and act as if we're going to hem. So what you would do with these is you would match them up with your raw edges, and you will fold it down 1 and 2, and you would do that all across the entire raw edge, and you would hem it. So that's how you would get rid of these little flaps. You fold it down and fold it down again. I like to fold double because that gives you like a really good hem. And that is how, and you would do just a straight stitch around to make a good hem. And that's how you would get rid of that. And you will also do it at the bottom. Right here, let's see, this bottom. So you would do 1 and then 2, and you would do a hem all around the bottom raw edge. So that is how you install a zipper, you guys. Now I'm going to show you how to install the zipper if you only wanted a little bit of the zipper. Say you didn't want the entire zipper all the way down. So I'm going to use the same shirt. I just turned it around. So now I'm going to do the front. And I only want my zipper to be about halfway through. So remember, we go up to the front and cut it in half. I'm going to use a white zipper just for tutorial purposes because you can see it very clear. And I only want my zipper to be about not even half. I just want like a little bit of a zipper, just a teeny bit. So I'm going to mark where I want my zipper to end. I want it like right here. I just took like a little pin. I'm going to do it this way so you can see. And just mark. Nothing crazy, just so you can know. So now we're going to put the zipper on the sewing machine and zigzag stitch across where you made that point where you want your zipper to stop. Go over it slowly on a zigzag stitch about 2 times. See, you're going to have like a little stopper. You just made like your own little stopper when you did that. So now when you unzip it, it automatically stops right there. Instead of going all the way down, you made a little stopper. So that's only as far as I want mine to stop at. Pair the 2 sides together with the right sides, the little flaps facing each other, and put your zipper on top and let it be flush. Now we're going to mark where we want our zipper to stop on the shirt. So we want our zipper to stop right here where this red dot is. So we're going to mark it on the shirt. Just a little dot or something. See right here. So remember last time we did a basting stitch all the way from the bottom to the top? Well, this time we're going to do an actual straight stitch all the way up until the point that we marked where we want our zipper to start. So let's start sewing that straight stitch. After you sew your straight stitch, it'll look just like it did when you did your basting stitch, except this one is a permanent stitch. It's not coming out. So you have your little flaps, open them, and continue to open them all the way up. Even though, you know, that part is not closed off, but open them up. Just try to like guesstimate how wide these flaps are so you can continue to keep them open all the way up. Take your zipper and put the right side facing down just like before. Same technique kinda. Now you see where the red dot is? You want to cut your zipper maybe like a half of an inch below that. So cut that off. Just like that. Grab your 2 pins just like we did on the other side. The 2 pins at the top and the 2 pins at the bottom, just to hold it in place. So turn that zipper right back around and let's pin it down. 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom, just to hold in place. Turn it inside out. Don't forget to remove the pins from the inside and go ahead and put them back on the outside so you don't sew them down by accident. going to put a pin horizontal right here to let me know where my zipper is going to stop. Okay. Put your zipper foot back on. And remember, like I said, with me, I always start on the left. So that means you need to put your zipper foot on the right. Always opposite of how you start. Take your pins out slowly and try to get it as close as you can to the zip. Unzip it to start with. And let's sew it down. Now we're at the part where we end the zipper. So we're going to pivot. Place it back down and sew across. So you have your zipper sewn in that you want halfway through. So you see how it's not all the way down. It stops right here. Alright, so there you have it. This is the top that I use to put the zippers in. This is the halfway zipper. And you can zip it back up. That's that way. I'll show you the other way. Now this side looks really weird because it's blue zipper and it just looks tacky. But anyway, you get the point. Here is the final look. So there you have it.